Welcome to my channel, where we discuss everything and all things politics, economy, and development in Nigeria and around the world. The presidency has won Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of Labour Party in the 2023 presidential election, that he should watch his mouth literally when he said that democracy has collapsed in Nigeria. Mr. Peter Obi was speaking at the colloquium to mark the 60th birthday of Emeka Ihedioha, former governor of Imo State, former deputy speaker of the House of Representatives. Emeka Ihedioha was a victim of the collapsing democracy in Nigeria too. If we're talking about that the democracy has collapsed in Nigeria, he was a victim. He won the election in 2019. He won the election and was declared winner by the Independent National Electoral Commission. Few months later, the Supreme Court of Nigeria sacked him and made the person that came forth the governor. And since that day, things have fallen apart. Things have fallen apart in Imo State. And the center can no longer hold. Imo State had become a heaven of violence, instability, and all that is wrong with democracy. All thanks to the Supreme Court judgment. Now that judgment was part of the things you look at to confirm really that democracy has collapsed in Nigeria. What we may be seeing is just evidence that we have civil rule, but that is not democracy. Civil rule is different from democracy. So when the presidents are criticizing Peter Obi is talking about democracy. He's not talking about civilian rule. Civilians have been ruling, but democracy has collapsed. It collapsed in Imo State. It's an example, a proof. And Emeka Ihedioha was a victim. And it is instructive that Peter Obi made that assertion at his colloquium. Now, even beyond Imo State, look at what played out in Rivers State. What played out in Rivers State could not happen in a democracy. If we are a democracy, if we are practicing if democracy has not collapsed, how would somebody who is not a governor of a state, you are a former governor, your tenure is past, the people elected another person, and you say that the person that was elected by the people of Rivers State will not have peace unless he danced to your tune? Have you ever seen that kind of democracy anywhere in the world? Have you ever seen it? Despite how strong Donald Trump is as a president, have you ever seen him punishing the governor of Florida or say that Florida will not move ahead because the governor is not dancing to his tune? And then we're talking about a president, a sitting president. But now we're talking about a former governor who said that the state, that he will put fire in states. Somebody said, I will put fire in your state if you put hand in Rivers State. Is that a democracy? In a democratic, in a functional democracy, Simi Fubara will be sitting pretty as the governor of River State right now, but he has been suspended. Is that not a collapsed democracy? Elected governor has been suspended. Elected deputy governor has been suspended. Elected House of State of Assembly have been suspended by the president of a country in a democracy. No, this is not democracy. What you have is civilian administration. It is a replacement of khaki with agbada. That's mainly what we have. That's the symbolism. Oh, we have that. It is civilians that are in charge. But the civilians are also not behaving any different from the military. That's why they don't tolerate criticisms. They don't want to hear criticism. And they don't allow the due process of the law to take place. And to make matters worse, they have judiciary in their pocket. Which part of the world have true democracy and the executive has pocketed the judiciary? If not in a collapsed democracy. Look at Donald Trump, the most powerful man in the world today, the most powerful leader in the world today. Do you know what had been keeping Donald Trump in check? It is the judiciary in America. It is the judiciary. Donald Trump wants to use executive power to achieve a lot, but the judiciary say, you can't do this, Mr. President. This is a violation of this law. This is a violation. You can't go on like this. There are so many cases filed in American courts to stop the reforms that Donald Trump wants to do in several sectors. That is a functional democracy. In Nigeria, you don't get it. When former President Goodluck Jonathan was talking about that our leaders are pretending to be asleep, and it is difficult to awake them or to wake them, to wake them up, because they were pretending to be asleep. Because, like he said, Indian proverb said that when a man is asleep, it's easier to wake him up. But when a man is pretending to be asleep, it is difficult to wake the man up. So they are pretending to be asleep. And he said it has dire consequences. That you cannot put your money in a country where one man tells the court what the judgment should be. That is not a functional democracy. That is just dictatorship in civilian clothes. That is what it is. So democracy has indeed collapsed. What we are witnessing is civilian administration, civilian rule. Like what is happening in River State, where the sole administrator that is not recognized by law is busy changing head of service, having secretary to the state government or whatever they say is appointed. That's just an indication of a collapsed democracy, but a civilian administration. That's what we have. As it is happening in River State, and it has happened in River State, where the presidency used federal might to impose state of emergency, and is sustaining it, and giving the allegation of former President Obasanjo that even that state of emergency was procured allegedly by paying money to the lawmakers, according to Obasanjo, 200 million. Is that not a sign of a collapsed democracy? but a subsisting civilian administration. Now, what is happening in Rivers State is also playing out in Kano. Look at in Kano. Kano is building up, nobody knows how it will end. In Kano, chieftaincy matter is believed to be the prerogative of the state government and the local government affairs to determine who becomes an emir and who doesn't become an emir. The state had picked an emir of Kano. The government in Abuja, the federal government, is allegedly thwarting every effort of the state government to exercise that authority. Now, the Supreme Court is going to be the final determinant, we heard, of who will become who is the authentic emir of Kano. Is that democracy, or we want to have a civilian administration? We know that during the military, Abacha removed even a sultan. We know that during the military can do and undo. But the civilian government are also trying to do the things Abacha and co did, but in a subtle way, using the constitution, using the courts, but trying to achieve the same objective. That is not democracy at play. If democracy is at play, if we have sustainable democracy, rule of law will determine who is the authentic emir of Kano, who has the right to do it, who has the right to appoint an emir between the federal government and the Kano state government. But look at what is playing out. Is that not a sign of a collapsed democracy? What is playing out in Kano? What is playing out in Rivers State? That's a collapsed democracy. That's a collapsed democracy, but a civilian administration. A civilian administration. Look at what is playing out in Osun over the local government administration. The federal government is backing the former governor of the state using federal might, that his local government chairmen are the authentic ones, while the PDP governor said that is not the authentic one. We are the ones that conduct local government election. These are our people are the authentic local government. But who are the ones that have access to the local government secretariats? By fire, by force. It is those that had power from Abuja. They are the ones in charge. Is that a democracy? It's a collapsed democracy. It's a collapsed democracy. It's no different from what was happening in the Western region between 1962 and 1964. 1966 that created all kinds of crises. So what you are seeing is a collapsed democracy, but a civilian administration. So the presidency, in their reaction, are missing the point. If they want this democracy to survive and not being a mere civilian administration, they have to allow the rule of law to prevail. They have to allow the federal structure to stand. They have to allow Simi Fubara to return back to his position as the governor of Rivers State, which is deputy, and restore the Rivers State House of Assembly. They have to allow the governor of Oyo State, Osun State, that local government election he conducted, the people that emerged there to take over the secretaries, they have to allow the government of Kano State to determine who is the emir of Kano. There are several other instances, but these are just snippets to prove that Peter Obi is right in saying that democracy has collapsed. Even without even going far, look at the circumstances in which even Tinubu emerged as president of Nigeria. The circumstances he emerged, they announced the results when Nigerians were asleep. And there were protestations about the way INEC was going about it. Look at the shutting down of the INEC to shut down the transmission of the result, presidential election result. Former Minister of Information said that INEC, I'm talking about Lai Mohammed, INEC deliberately shut down the transmission of the result. And people were alleging that it was because Peter Obi it was a home run for Peter Obi. He was cruising to victory, and that thing was shut down, allegedly. But the former minister said it, that INEC deliberately shut it down. There was no attack on it. Is that a democracy? It's a collapsed democracy. So what we have is a civilian government. We don't have men in uniform. We thank God. But what we are having is no different from military dictatorship, but this time civilian dictatorship. So what we have is civil administration, but a collapsed democracy. We can only remake the situation if Nigerian people say enough is enough and vote in 2027 to restore democracy, to restore democratic governance, to restore a Nigeria that will be governed by a rule of law and not by the rule of men, not by the rule of those who say, if it's not my way, there will be no peace in the government house. The governor will not be able to sleep in his state. I will put fire in your state. That is even the governor, chief security officer of your state, you will not be able to sleep in your state. That's the rule of men. That is not the rule of law. That's what Nigerians should work for ahead of 2027, to restore rule of law, to restore democratic governance, which will be higher than the civilian administration we are presently running. So Peter Obi is right. The presidency can say what they like, but I think I have given enough points to show that what we have is a civilian administration and a collapsed democracy, like Peter Obi pointed out. I don't know what you think about this, but whatever is your position, let's hear from you at the comment section. Thank you for watching this video, and if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, Google will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.